Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Taiwan. MJ here. At the famous Jar Jar store. Man, this place is a mess. A bunch of guys here this afternoon drinking and eating stuff. But it's about 11:30 p.m. here tonight in Taiwan. One time zone here in Taiwan. Excuse me. I've gone around to a couple of places, and I gotta tell you, people are partying like there's nothing wrong, like there's no tomorrow. It's really quite remarkable. I want to welcome everyone on Facebook, on my timeline. I'm not actually sure if I'm trying to experiment. I usually broadcast on Facebook to my timeline. To my Facebook group. But in this case, I'm going for the timeline just to see if it will allow commenting. Mike, how you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you on YouTube. We're also on Twitch, and we're on YouTube, and also Band, B-A-N-D, at the Real Taiwan. Mike, how's it going? I went over to Mr. Wu's, and I have never seen so many people at Mr. Wu's. Usually I go there and it's dead. Just tonight, I rode my bike past, and there must be 20 people in there. I kind of don't like that crowd. I sort of know those guys. And they're notorious cigarette smokers, and I don't like to be around cigarette smokers. Using my wireless mic, and it shows that I have like full pin when I talk. Hang on. There you go. All right. I just turned the audio down a little bit. Hopefully that's better. All right, hang on a second. I got to make sure that I do this right. Okay. I just didn't want to accidentally ban Mike, so I had to remove the chat widget for a moment so I could get rid of that stupid spammer on Twitch. I hate those. I'm eating these really amazing garlic peanuts. I'm drinking this stuff from Klein, and it's from Japan. Let me see if I can throw some light on this subject. There you go. It's Klein, and it's like some kind of a lemon drink. Unfortunately, I don't like it that much. Klein is my favorite Japanese beer, and almost everything they make is fantastic. But in this case, anyway. So as I was saying, I went over to Mr. Wu's, and it's absolutely packed with people. And they're smoking and drinking. No masks, no social distancing. They're all hanging out, And Taiwan is experiencing the highest rate of local transmission that we have since the beginning of the pandemic. Taiwan has characteristically pretty much beaten everybody else in the world with regard to keeping this pandemic under control. Now the game has changed with this latest Omicron variant because of two things. First of all, hi everybody. First of all, it's not as dangerous as all the past variants have been. The fact is, about 0.5% of all the new cases are considered moderate or severe. Everything else is mild or asymptomatic. So I think people are not as afraid as they used to be, with the alpha and beta, the original variants. And the second thing is, because of that, Taiwan has changed its strategy from all these guys, man. They take the baffles out. Now they're scooters. These are like 7,500 cc scooters, and they sound like V8 engines going by there. This is ridiculous, and nobody does anything about it. It's so loud it hurts your ears. But Taiwan's COVID strategy has changed. It's no longer about zero COVID, it's about zero deaths. And they're doing a pretty good job, but of course some people are sick, or they're sick and they're advanced in age, or they're both. But, all right, I think it's more interesting to look at the street. Okay, no, it's not. What I did was, Mike, hang on, let me do this, hang on. Okay. All right. What I was saying, Mike, you probably didn't hear me, or you misunderstood what I meant. I probably didn't say it clear enough. I usually stream to Facebook on the Real Taiwan page, or the group, I mean. I probably should make a page, but I made a group. And it seems that people can't comment there and leave comments that I can see in real time. So I decided to stream. Hey Ken Ron, how you doing? Fist bump to you, bro. So I decided to stream to the my timeline. So what I'm doing is I'm streaming right now to the MJ Klein timeline to see how that works. I don't know. I mean, I think what I really need is a page more than a group. Facebook has changed so much, and to be honest with you, I don't really like it. I don't keep up with it, but I made a group, which maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I should have just made a page. That's what I made before, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't actually think that much about it. Anyway. So Mike, if you want to, you can take a look at the, what am I trying to say? You can take a look at the timeline and see if that works. All right, now here's what's going on. I want to show you. I'm going to leave these kind of small so I can put them all up there. The number in question, there are two numbers that matter, right in the middle. Matthew, how you doing? And Mike, I see you on Facebook. Matthew, fist bump to you. Mike, I see you. So the timeline probably is the way to go. All right. I guess I don't need that group. Problem is, I think it's impossible to delete a group. I think what you have to do, man, that was idiotic. I think what you have to do is remove all the members, then leave yourself, and I think it eventually goes away. But yeah, there you go, Mike. Okay, so it's working. If you prefer Facebook, there you go, bro. Okay, that's cool. That works. All right. Ken was on a few minutes ago. It's funny because I was preparing this broadcast. I was walking around, riding my bike around, looking for places to stream from, and before I decided here at Jar Jar, I got a notification from Ken Rod. So couldn't go live at the exact same moment, you know. All right. Let's talk about this number on the screen. The big 854 is the cumulative numbers, the cumulative number of deaths we've had in Taiwan. Immediately to the left of that, you'll see a number that says 1199. That was 1,199 local cases on that day. The next day, the deaths are still at 854, so no new deaths, but we had 1,210. Now, that's new cases. Now, for us, 1,000 cases a day is like outrageous. Nobody ever imagined that, right? But here's the thing. Look at 1,099. See, that's like 1,200. So the next day is 1,210. So really the percentage didn't go up that much. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it almost doubles. It'll, like every 2 days it'll double, you know what I'm saying? It'll be at 1,000, then it'll be 1,500, and then it'll be 2,000, then 2 days later it's 4,000, so boom. Okay, excellent. That's good. Well, until I can figure it out, and it's just going to take trial and error, but maybe I should just delete that Facebook group. Because I do have the Line group, and I really don't see anybody, I mean, I've got the live streaming technology forum too. Which reminds me, guys, if you want to find out what I'm doing with, Hey Go, blow this up some more. You can check out the Real Taiwan.tv. Boy, my phone's getting hot. Wow. Okay, now, the next day, we had 856 deaths. So we had added 2 deaths. Now, unfortunately, we had our first child death. He was 2 years old. It was kind of a freak thing. He had something that happened with his brain, and it was bad. But it's a real freak thing. And the other was a gentleman that was 90 years old. But see the numbers? 1,626. So these are consecutive days. So on one day there were 1,199 new cases, then 1,210, and then the next day was 1,626. Then the next day it was 2,386. But no additional deaths. We're still at 856 deaths. Okay, which that's how you want it. You want to keep the deaths down. People can get sick all they want, but just don't die. That was yesterday. This is today's number. Oh, I got to take some of these off. That's today's number. 2,969. So you'll notice that from yesterday to today, the number of new cases wasn't even as much as 1,000 difference. You see what I'm saying? I think that's a good thing. So what's on the screen now are the last 4 days. The 2,969 is today's. Then 2136 was yesterday. 1626 the day before. And 1210 the day before that. So it's not so completely out of control. So in 4 days it went from 2012. Notification got away. Excuse me, it went from 2010 to 2696. Which may seem kind of bad, but not really. I think Taiwan's going to get this whole thing under control again. The last outbreak we had was last year, about this time. It wasn't this big. It was a different variant. It was deadlier and not as transmissible. But we had, I think the most we had was just under 1,000 a day. And we were in the triple digits for a couple of months. So remains to be seen what happens. Whether these numbers become 10,000 a day or something like that, right, or whatever. But what happened with Phoenix in her school was we had to go get her from school on Tuesday. Phoenix is in third grade. Another kid who's in the third grade in a different classroom on a different floor. Hey, Dean, fist bump. Tested positive. So the thing is, Phoenix is in a private school, and the private school has a higher threshold for triggering action than the public schools do. And they have one English class that's comprised of students from many other different classes. Okay. And so this kid who had tested positive for COVID was in an English class with several other kids that are in Phoenix's main classroom. The trouble is I can imagine it. I can, definitely can. And I feel bad too. And that's why many experts are saying that this is liable to be the end of the CCP. Because the people are, well, there's a great firewall of China, right? And so you know that most of what's happening is not getting out. But when you start seeing videos of people protesting and stuff, that's like, you know, there's, you know, 100 times more than that that's actually going on. So Dean, what's going on with you, man? I didn't bother to join Simon's Zoom for heckle. Anyway. Just munching on these peanuts, man. You know what? This mic picks up everything. It's great because I can just sit back too. Don't have to get up on the phone. So I went to Mr. Wu's. There were like 20 or 25 people there. And at Win-Win's, there's a bunch of people outside. I mean, you know, not in the interior part. No masks, smoking cigarettes, having a good old time. Yeah, we're probably all going to get COVID. Wow, 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 wow. That guy, there's a blinking red light. There's traffic light, see? Blinking yellow on the left, blinking red on the right. The blinking red is for this road here. That's where that guy went through. And these guys are going through without stopping. And people here drive like animals. I mean, they drive like maniacs. They come up, they blow up and down that road and just, you know, really super fast. That guy sort of slowed down and looked. But I saw a guy a couple weeks ago, I was sitting here, and he went down that way, and he blew through that light, like a red light, full speed, didn't slow down, didn't look. I guess you could say his chances were pretty good, but all it takes is one of them right there. People are always worried about the law, right? The law that I worry about the most is the law of physics. And the law of physics says that when you're on a scooter, you can't beat a car. No matter what you do, you can't beat a car. All right. So I don't know what's going on here tonight. I don't really want to turn my light on, but I have it. I could turn it around because I got a swivel mount. I should take a picture sometime of my gimbal setup, wireless mic and the light and all that stuff. But the problem is I have to figure out how to take a picture of it while the camera's on the gimbal, if you see what I'm saying. Mike, welcome back on YouTube. You're on Facebook earlier. I wonder if Facebook Now, the only thing I can do with Facebook is I can pick a comment, but I can't like make moderators or something. I don't even know what that is, Mike. Valencia peanuts? I don't know what they are. Let me move this. Hang on. Hang on. I don't know what those are. So I'm going to say no, because I don't know what they are. But they sound good, and I would try them, definitely. And these are garlic. Excuse me. And they're unbelievable. Now, people who know me personally know that phrases like, "Oh, there's too much garlic," they don't exist in my vocabulary. So, Matthew, how you guys doing where you're at? And get any snow lately? Because the last time I talked to you was the last time, the time before, you guys got a surprise snowstorm. I was reading about that. A couple places in the States got a surprise snowstorm. And some of the flowers that came out started blooming. They wish they hadn't done that. Let me do this. Okay, it's this button, and it's that button for okay. I can't see which one it is. That's okay. So where's the? Oh, there we go. So if I do this, ooh, wow, that's as low as I can get it. It's actually quite, it's a nice light, but it's very bright, and oh man. See, it's like, oh boy. And then that's the colors. Oh well. Can't maybe I can aim it sort of down at the table. Still kind of looks like ghost story time. April 19th, yeah. See, it wasn't that long ago, a couple days ago, just the dusting, but yeah, still, that's like, the grass is probably hiding. I got filters and stuff. I don't want to go too crazy, but I have these. See, the thing has a magnetic. Let me see. This red filter is one of the darkest ones. This thing has a magnetic cover, and so you pop this off, and you put this on the magnetic cover. Oh, there you go. I like that. Okay. We'll just do that. I know, isn't it crazy? It's been like that here too, because the last couple of weeks have been rainy, and then it teased us for a day or two. I went on my 4th floor balcony, and I sat on my lounge chair, and I got a tan, and my chest actually peeled. I got a sunburn. So, really, I'd love those. How's that? Red light, yeah, that's cool. Man, I would love that. Sounds good. But then we had a bunch of rain after that, And you know what really messed me up, which I hate? I didn't even see the full moon. Full moon started on Friday. And it was all, you know, like really super cloudy. And couldn't really see. I mean, it was like partly cloudy, but you know what I'm saying, where the hole in the sky, when it was this big here and there, and this. And then, so every month has minimum 4 days, a full moon. Some months have 5 days. So it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And today's Thursday, so it's already gibbous, and it's cloudy, and I still haven't seen it. So, because I'm a big fan of the moon, you guys know that. I love the moon. I have a levitating moon, levitatingmoon.com, moon sculpture. And you guys, if you want, if you go to levitatingmoon.com and you want to order one of those, it's amazing. It floats on a magnetic base. It floats in the air above it. It's amazing. And I have a discount code for that if you guys want to try that out. It's TAKE, T-A-K-E 15. You can't combine it with any other special. But if they have no specials going on and you want to get the levitating moon, you know, get the big one. I love it. And being magnetically levitated, the slightest air movement will turn it. So it's really cool because I have the AC on or the fan on in the room, and it just sits there and slowly spins. So hey, that's cool. Well, Mike, do you drink? You know, and I know it's daytime there, but you know, if it's your day off, and oh my goodness, that's the gaudiest e-bike I've ever seen. Green lights and red lights and stuff on it. It's you're not a bum if you drink during the day on your day off. And because I don't have a job, you know, I sometimes do drink during the day. So, but yeah, you can have a relaxing little beverage. All right, I'm liking this. Of course, the other thing, there's I think 10 or 8 of these filters, and you know, that came with this light, and it doesn't stop me from stacking a couple on top of each other. In fact, if you put like, you got a dark green and a dark red, you put the dark green, dark red together, it really like knocks the light down. But this light is so bright that even on, you know, it has 4 settings, and on the lowest setting, it's wow. So, how's the mic sounding? I got it clipped here, and it's not distorting, is it? You hear any distortion? Wow, it's too bad about Mr. Wu's, because I was thinking about getting like a, yeah. It actually was popular here for a long time. Okay, thanks. Because this place was, of course, Taiwan has always been like a leader in LED technology, but it's kind of run its course. Used to see those cars that would be lit completely underneath, and at night they look like they're floating. It's amazing. I like that. I used to like that a lot. You don't see that too much anymore. A couple of years ago, I saw a car go down the street, though, in the highway. It's actually on the highway. He must have had to do some kind of modification to the electrical system, because I swear there must have been a couple hundred LEDs on that car of everything you can imagine. It's not illegal here, because back where I used to live in the States, you know, you put anything like that flashing on your car, you get pulled over, and you can't have any. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. You can't have any blue lights, blue color and red color, unless you got tail lights in the back for red. You can't have anything flashing. And here, there's no law against any of that stuff. You see cars with blue lights flashing and red lights flashing all the time. Remember one time I was on the highway and a truck came up behind me real close and he wanted to intimidate me to pass. I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw these red and blue flashing lights. And I realized that what he had done was put these lights on the front of his truck to try and intimidate people into thinking they look up, oh, it's maybe the cops, and want them to get out of the way. Something that you guys probably don't know, but in Taiwan, whenever the police are on duty, they run their lights. So they patrol the neighborhood, all the time with their lights on. And they come up behind people and at a stoplight, with their lights on. But it doesn't mean that they're pulling them over. When they want to pull somebody over, they get on the loudspeaker and they tell them, yeah, I know, that's about right. That's about right, Mike. So what happens is, and this is funny because I was watching an episode of Cops. Now, don't ask me why. I was watching an episode of Cops. And the cops wanted to pull a car over, and they flashed the lights. And nothing happened. They didn't slow down. They didn't do anything. So they flashed the lights again, and nothing happened. And finally, they flashed the lights, and then they got on the horn, and they told them to pull over, and then they pulled over immediately. So you see the cop, he's shining the flashlight in the window, he's looking, so I caught a glimpse of some of the people in the car, and they were Asian. I was watching TV with my wife, and I said, they're from Taiwan. Take care, Ken. Fist bump, thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm doing everything I can to be safe. I'm out here by myself. Even though I'm at the table, I still got my alcohol with me, but thanks. Take care, man. So I told my wife, I said, those people are from Taiwan. She said, how do you know? I said, watch. Cop came back and he told his partner, he said, this is just a misunderstanding. They're from Taiwan. And I said, I told you. And my wife said, how'd you know? I said, because in Taiwan, the cops run their lights all the time when they're on duty. So if a cop comes up behind a car and turns on his lights, it doesn't mean anything. They have to tell him on the loudspeaker with a microphone. And she's like, oh yeah. So there you go. You come to Taiwan and you're riding around in a car and a cop comes up behind you with the lights on. Drive normal. Doesn't matter. I had to quit watching that show because it made me mad. See, I come from an era where the police had a different attitude. The attitude today is that everybody's a criminal. and many just haven't been caught yet. So I'm against things like fingerprinting, unless you're a criminal. And I was at an airport and I told them, I said, I don't want to give my fingerprints. And they said, you have to. I said, no, I'm not a criminal. You fingerprint criminals. I've never been arrested. I have no criminal history. Never been in jail. Nothing. You're gonna treat me like a criminal. Of course, they didn't care, but I just wanted to make my point. Nowadays, though, you travel, everywhere you go, you got fingerprint scanners. Some of them are savvy too, because I'll tell you to do 4 fingers and then the thumb, because everybody knows you can't do your thumb like this. The thumb is always sideways. I try to get by with that, but they won't let me. Actually, in one of the Thorndike books, you know, I love these 19th century detective novels. Speaking of which, I want to mention something to you about that in a minute. There's a fictitious detective named John Thorndike. And those novels, by the way, by author's name is Freeman. Look it up. Thorndike and Freeman. I can't think of his name now. That's the surname of the author. But somebody had tried to frame somebody else with a handprint, and they used individual stamps representing the person's fingerprints of the person that they were trying to frame, and they put the handprint like on the glass, and then the thumb they put like this. And Thorndike won the case in court by saying that it was faked because it's a scientific impossibility for the thumb to be represented that way. Only on the very tips. Yes. Big calluses. But speaking of 19th century detectives, Sherlock Holmes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I have read every single book, Sherlock Holmes book. I've read every single Sherlock Holmes story ever written. I've read every single spin-off that I was able to find, like Ruggles, supposedly his son. It's non-canon, written by somebody else. Then I read Mrs. Ruggles and a whole bunch. I'm going to say I probably read about 80 books. I don't know how many there are in the Sherlock Holmes series. And then I've read all the Jules Verne novels I could find too. I'm a pretty prolific reader. And so Phoenix likes this cartoon from Japan called Conan. Not like Conan the Barbarian. But this is Detective Conan. And any of you who know, like, Japanese TV or Japanese culture probably know about Detective Conan. And I've taken Phoenix to a couple of Detective Conan movies, and they're really cool, and they're well written. But tonight, I introduced Phoenix to Sherlock Holmes. She's heard of him. But to me, I'm going to tell you, Sherlock Holmes has been played by many people. And the modern version with Benedict Cumberbatch, not bad. He's a good actor. He comes off as intellectually brilliant. I just think that if they had portrayed him, you know, in the period, it would have been better. But the definitive actor, in my opinion, is Basil Rathbone. And those Sherlock Holmes movies take place around World War II. They're from the 40s and the 50s, but the timeline is around World War II. And I started to show Phoenix one of those tonight. And the upshot is she absolutely loves it. Because she has developed an interest and a love for detective stories. And detective stories are really cool. Now, here's one interesting thing about the Thorndike novels. And Freeman, when he wrote these novels, there's a formula. There's a formula to writing, you know, so. When I was in elementary school, junior high school, they tested me for reading, speed reading. And they turned the machine up all the way. I got 100. Junior high is reading about 350 words a minute. If I really have to scan something quick, I can scan a pretty large book, about 45 minutes, do pretty well. But I don't like to do that. I like to dissect it. I like to read several lines over and over, several paragraphs over and over to make sure that I get, you know, the sense of it. So when I read myself for recreation, I slow down. And I like to read on my tablet, on my Surface Pro, using the Kindle app. I sometimes read on my phone, but not so much because the text is smaller. But my favorite reading for recreation is technical reading. And I like stuff like, you know, Nikola Tesla, that kind of stuff. And again, it's from, you know, the 1870s and 1880s, which was that's an era that I really like. But getting back to how Freeman had written the Thorndike novels, there's a formula for writing novels, especially detective novels. Just like there's a formula for writing a hit song or anything. But he blew that away out of the water. He twisted it around. What he did was, at the beginning of the novel, he described the crime in detail. True, but I don't get as much out of it. I used to try to listen to ebooks in the car years ago. I get the end of an ebook, I'm like, huh, what? Oh, I wasn't paying attention to it. My mind wanders. Think about the thing about audiobooks is, if you really, really want to learn, listen to the audiobook, but read the text. And that way, you get the information in two channels. But for me, if I just listen to it, that's why often there must be something wrong with me. Unless it's really, really super compelling content. Podcasts bore me. You know, I mean, just audio-only podcast. which is weird though, because I like radio. I like talk radio, and I like shortwave radio. But there's something about radio that makes it engaging. I think especially shortwave radio, because I have to interact with the machine, and because often there's interference in the signal, and I have to listen more carefully. I have to make adjustments to the antenna or the radio, for better reception. But if I just put something on and listen to it, too often it becomes background noise, and I don't listen to it. I prefer to read and just read. Anyway, what Freeman did with the Thorndike novels is something that, at that point, no one had ever done. The book opens describing the criminal committing the crime. So in the first chapter of the book, you know what the crime is, and you know who did it. Which kind of is backwards, right? Because, if you're watching Sherlock Holmes movies or reading the Sherlock Holmes books, right up to the very last second, they're revealing things, and it's brilliant. And you're like, oh, wow, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I understand that? But when the nature of the crime and who committed it is explained completely at the beginning, it gives a completely different flavor to the novel as you follow along with the detective who's trying to uncover these clues and figure out what's going on with the case. Oh, you mean the monotonous voice? Yeah, the YouTube narrator? Yeah, that's true. No, it's always better if they hire somebody. And you know what I like? I like when the author reads the book. Like if you buy like a Jordan Peterson book or something, for example, and it's Jordan Peterson, narrating it. I like that. If I ever write a book, that's what I would do. I would narrate it myself. But if you've never heard of the John Thorndike, Thorndyke mysteries, what's his name? Something Freeman. Of course, I keep thinking of Morgan Freeman. It's not. Anyway, the author's surname is Freeman, F-R-E-E-M-A-N. And these are all public domain. You can find these all in ebook or PDFs. Guys, do me a favor, man. Get one of the Thorndike novels and read it and tell me what you think. Because Thorndike, the character, has a wide range of knowledge. He's a doctor, actually, but he also knows quite a bit about chemical engineering and mechanical engineering. And he has a friend of his named Dr. Jervis, who's a medical doctor that helps him, and he has an assistant named Mr. Polton. And what I liked about those books is it wasn't always just about, you know what? My gimbal lost power. It's out of power. It wasn't always just about, you can do. It wasn't always just about Thorndike, because there is a book called Mr. Polton Explains, and it's a book about Thorndike's assistant, Mr. Polton, explaining some crucial parts of the cases that were already written about in other books. It was just amazing. Freeman was a genius with all this stuff. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Hang on, I got to figure this out. This is on. Hold on. Give me a second here. I got to. Oh, here you go. I didn't realize that my gimbal had lost its power. Okay, so. Okay. All right, there we go. Hang on. Sorry about this. All right, so if I do this, it's got to come on. It's got to go this way. Okay, there we go. What happened was my gimbal came back on. And when it came on, it activated the, oh, for crying out loud, it activated the phone's native camera app. Okay, so sorry about that. Now what I got to do is I got to do this, and I got to slide this again, and then I'm gonna where's the other? Okay, I guess maybe this back camera. Okay, good. There we go. Okay, there you go. Wow. It's good. It's good that I have a really, really big, fat battery bank because I'm charging the gimbal while I'm running it. The gimbal lost. It's funny because the gimbal has a it has a USB-A port. It doesn't provide a whole lot of power, but I have it powering the phone, so the phone doesn't run down real quick. It can't keep up with it. It's not like a high capacity charger, but the gimbal does have quite a big battery in it. But I've used it for like maybe 3 times for a couple hours without charging it recently. So there you go. And my battery bank is fully charged and ready to go. We're just a mess here tonight. Oh well. So yeah, check out the John Thorndike novels. They're all in the public domain, and they're really amazing. And gosh, I read this one book. It took me like 3 months. Armitage, I think. I forget what it was. Also by Freeman. It's going back about 6 or 7 years. I'm far too busy now. The problem is you get older and get busy, but before Phoenix was born, I had a lot more discretionary time. And before I had a studio and decided to go back into the recording business, I had a lot more discretionary time. So I had time to read these novels. Unfortunately, today I get most of my entertainment like that. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. I'm glad I streamed tonight too. Sorry about the gimbal going haywire on it though, but just give you something interesting to look at, I guess. Unfortunately, I get most of that kind of stuff now from YouTube. Yeah, Matthew. I'm absolutely certain you can relate to that. Oh yeah. Now, I had my kid late in life. But most of the reading I did when I was younger was science fiction or science fact. And I didn't care much for literature and all the other stuff. And I wasn't keen on degrees because if I wanted a degree in electrical engineering, I didn't want to study anything about, art, literature, or any other stuff. And so I asked, why do I have to study all that crap? And I said, well, you have to have an education. So what are we talking about? You can't just learn about electronics and call yourself educated. I said, why not? Didn't really have an answer for it. I says, okay, so what you're telling me is these degrees are made up by academics who want you to study what they think you should study. Yeah, okay. Well, I want to study what I think I should study. I studied electronics on my own. That's what I did. I studied engineering on my own. I taught myself high-level math. Studied math on my own. So I gave myself my own degree. It served me well. Later on, as I got older, that's when I started looking at these other things. I gotta tell you though, if you immerse yourself in the Thorndike mysteries, there are lessons to be learned from them too. And things that apply in the modern world, although it does shock in some respects, because obviously they're period pieces, and they do reveal things about that era. Like, for example, arsenic was a medicine. People were actually treated with arsenic. And other dangerous drugs that other dangerous compounds that we know. But it's pretty interesting in how things like shattered nerves, was a diagnosis, had a treatment for it and things like that. So, and the way people spoke too, and the respect that they had for one another. In Asia, men call each other Mister. But you didn't know that. Yeah, when I used to live in the States, nobody that I knew would say Mr. So-and-so. I was called people by their first name. Even if they didn't know him. If they knew some guy was coming in the office named Jim Smith, they would just say, hey Jim, how you doing? Like they'd known him forever. In Asia, everybody calls each other Mr. until they're given permission otherwise. And if you look at these movies, even from the World War II era, oh, that's nice. I love that. I love that sound. The only chirping we got right now is scooters. And there's a dog coming over here. Hey, I don't want you over here. Go away. Thank you. He's sniffing around for food. Probably because his owner doesn't feed him. Sometimes in Asia, the idea of dog ownership is to open the gate and let them run. Dog's probably harmless, but you never know. It's desperately looking for something. Now they do sell meat in this store, And sometimes they've got like, you know, meat drippings and stuff for when they package it up. He's over there now. He started to come like underneath the table. I was here one night, one afternoon actually, or no, wait a minute, one early evening. And one of those aunties, you know, the recycling ladies, comes over and she's got her dog on her scooter. And he starts, I'm eating peanuts, you know. He starts coming around me, looking for stuff and going under the table and making me nervous. So I said to the lady, you know, what's he doing? And she's like, you know, don't worry about him. I'm like, well, I gotta worry about him. She's like, right now, he's under the table. Hey, what you doing? He's under the table. I don't know what he's doing. So I asked her, don't you feed him? And she laughed. But I was like, why is he so hungry? Why is he sniffing around looking for stuff all the time? So, anyway. It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm worried about you doing something. Probably won't, but hey. But see, that dog is too fat. The dog belongs to somebody. You know, it really does. It belongs to somebody. That's not like a... Yeah, that's probably right, Mike. Looking for something. Bird's eggs or something. So now he's sniffing around my bike. Yeah, anyway. There's nothing over here. There's nothing over here. Nothing over here. Oh, he stinks too. Anyway, he's got a collar on. He's too fat for a stray. This is just somebody that doesn't know how to take care of their dog, you know? Yeah. This is somebody who just doesn't know what he's doing. Now he's digging into something. Who knows what? He's pulling a can or something out. Hey, what are you doing? I guess it's none of my business. You know, if I had gotten some from Mr. Wu's, like some meat or something I had on this table, he'd be over here bugging me about that. So, you know. What that other dog was doing, you know. Speaking of LED light, yes. Oh, you mean put it on him? Ha ha ha. Yeah, maybe. And I found something in the trash pile. I don't know what he's doing. He found something in the trash pile. This is a place down the street. And they have, they sell steak. And I'm sorry, but the boss lady has what I think is probably the ugliest dog I've ever seen. Nasty looking. And whenever I go there, I like the place. Fortunately, only about like maybe 1 out of every 5 or 6 times I go there, That dog just sits next to my table, looking up at me. He's got something. I don't know what he's got. He's got like a chicken bone or something. Dogs here eat chicken bones. I don't know why dogs in America can't eat chicken bones without dying, but dogs here eat chicken. They eat chickens. They chase chickens. I've seen them chase chickens like in Thailand. In America, oh, don't give him the chicken bone. Why? It'll splinter and get stuck in his throat. I'm like, yeah, tell that to a wolf. Well, gotta hand it to him. Found something. At least he ate it. Anyway. So, I'll be at that restaurant, and finally, I just got to get up, and I got to go over there and I got to yell at that dog, stop looking at me, go away, and stop bothering me, and looking at me, begging. And you would think, right? I mean, if I was a restaurant owner and I had a dog, that's probably, one of the first things that I would do is prevent my dog from doing that to the customers. But this boss lady evidently doesn't think that way. I've noticed in general, people in Taiwan think, their dog is the cutest one in the world. So why wouldn't you want it to be like, rummaging around under your feet? What's wrong with you? Right. So he's pulling stuff out of this trash can and trying to make a big mess. Well, at least he's not bothering me. All right. I've been chased by a number of these strays on my bike. Kind of tired of them. What you do is you have to stop. As soon as you stop, the chase is over. And they just stand there and bark at you. You're like, okay, whatever. Like I tell Phoenix, don't act like prey. Just start chasing him, just slam on the brakes. Because then when they catch you, they don't know what to do with you. Especially if you get off your bike and you stand there at your full height. Okay. All these shells from all these peanuts that I ate. And they will come up here tomorrow and clean this off. That's what they do every morning. That lady, Miss Lynn, comes here and she cleans the area. She provides kind of a service for the Jar Jar Boss Lady. And Jar Jar Boss Lady, in return, gives her the vast majority of the cardboard box scrap, which she takes down to the recycle center down the street and sells. And I can't make a whole lot of money, but if you're diligent in Taiwan, you can make, if you're diligent and you're up early and you walk around and you find every resource that you can find for recycled stuff, you can make enough to eat for the day. But you got to do it again the next day. It's not that much, but you might be able to make anywhere from $3 to $6 a day, maybe. So I guess he's he or she, I guess they're tired. They got their chicken bone, then that was it. No, not all of them. A lot of them are, but like for example, these here that you see on like that one right there. That's still sodium vapor. But in the bigger cities, they're all LED, much to the chagrin of Earth scientists who, and astronomers who complain about light pollution. See, it used to be it was too expensive to run lights that were bright enough to, disturb photography, astrophotography, but that's not the case anymore. So it's actually economically feasible to destroy that science because LED lights are so cheap to operate and they're cheap to buy and everything else. So what time is it? Oh, it's 10 minutes until 1. We've been on the air for an hour. I have been just aimlessly, just I don't know, ratchet jawing we used to call it. Just aimlessly talking for an hour and 20 minutes. Amazing. I wish that the chat widget had a better word wrap than that, though, because it kind of cuts off those words like LED, right? So, yeah, I do too, and I miss it. Yeah, and Taiwan is not known for good seeing, but Taiwan is a UFO hotspot. If you look up, Taiwan UFOs, there's a lot of them, and there have been several that have been caught on Google Maps in Taiwan. Of course, there was that big, the transparent alien, which I debunked several years ago. It's not a transparent alien. It's a hiker with a bush hat carrying a sweat cloth. But yeah, Taiwan is known to be a hot spot. And the other thing we have in Taiwan, which I thought was weird, is we have chemtrails here. I don't know who's dumping chemicals in Taiwan, but I know the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, Starbuck Island, yeah. You know what? There's a National Geographic video on Starbuck Island. It's a part 1, and there's no part 2 or part 3. It's amazing. I looked for it, and it talked about, it's scrub, and it's like there's no water, so you can't sustain yourself. You'd have to, if you were there somehow, you'd have to, desalinate the seawater. You'd have to set up a still to distill the water. Of course, you can just fish for food, but it was very interesting watching that. But I don't know why they didn't do a part 2. Maybe because they found the UFO, the skid marks. Boy, I would love to go there. I would. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think if I started a Kickstarter, I could get that funded? We're going to travel to Starbuck Island with a group of engineers, and we're going to document. We could bring we'd have to get permission and reciprocal licensing. We could bring a ham radio station and go on the air. And there's no internet unless we could get sponsored by Starlink, which would be cool. Starbuck Island Expedition, sponsored by Starlink. See, you can do that now. You couldn't do that beforehand. You're stuck in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing there. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Do a late night with MJ Klein from Starbuck Island. Yeah. And the thing is, though, is you need such a diverse team, because I'm not a diver. I mean, I've done some diving. I'm not a diver, but you need divers, professional divers, and you need, a dive master, and then you need an archaeologist, because there's something down there, and it may just be something completely different than what it looks like. It may be a boat hull, you know. But you need a dive team to go down, take pictures, take samples, and you need somebody to analyze it. But what do you think? Would a Kickstarter, would that do it? What do you think? Do you think people would contribute to that? I don't know what they would get out of it, but maybe they would just get, like, you know, the Starbuck Island book or something. What do you think about that? I just gave away a huge, cool expedition opportunity on YouTube. Yeah, like I really care. Haha. But I don't know. Matthew, what do you think? Yes, it is. It is amazing. It's not always for the good, though. Not always for the good. Because, you know, nuclear fission was discovered. And unfortunately, the first thing they did with it wasn't generate power. But, yeah. I wouldn't mind putting together an expedition to Starbuck Island. Of course, I'm not qualified to be the archaeologist, and I'm not qualified to be the dive master, but I know my navigation. I could pull the team together. I could lead the team, but I need some really, really strong team leaders. Yeah. But the question is, would you donate like $50 or $100 to the Starbuck Island, you know, expeditionary force? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. It'll take a lot of gear. See, the problem is getting a boat with all the gear. I mean, seriously, to put something like that together, you're talking about $750,000 to do it right. I mean, if you really want to find out what's down there. Of course, you know, it could be a matter of just one of these YouTubers that live on these sailboats to just, you know, swing by there and look down and go, oh, it's a boat hull, and that's the end of that. So, oh, really? The Arizona? Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing. Wow. Yeah, that's just below the surface. Parts of it stick up above the surface to this day. Yeah, it's quite a story. But yeah, maybe we could get some of those YouTubers to swing by and just take a look. Yeah, it's fun to ride scooters, but it's dangerous. See, in Taiwan, people are used to it, and they, you know, even though the cars don't want to, they give way. But, you know, I hear people in the States, it's funny because there was a woman on Yahoo that used to say this all the time. And then I saw the exact same thing she was talking about happen on TV, and I thought it was her. But she used to tell me that she sees spandex, and she doesn't give way. She said, these people don't pay road taxes, so I'm not going to give way to them. I'm not going to watch out for them. If I run them over, I run them over. If I hit them, I hit them. It was crazy, you know, just absolutely crazy. But that attitude isn't here in Taiwan. And like I have the recumbent trike and, you know, my bike and stuff, and you know, people look out for non-motorized vehicles. It's on the radar. So. Oh, I see. Oh, so he was stationed in Pearl. That's cool. Yeah, check the oil leaks. Yeah. No, they are. They finally issued some laws here that require the electric bike the drivers to wear helmets, and they also specifically state that they have to have insurance. Of course, none of them do, and that they can't carry passengers. But already tonight, in tonight's live stream, you saw one guy go by. He had a girl on the back with no helmet. Nothing says, I don't really love you, I just want to have sex with you, like no helmet. But that's what's going on. See, it used to be if you wanted to get a girl here, if you're a, foreign labor, and you want to get a girl, you have to have a bike. And the bike has to have those pegs on the back axle so she can stand on the pegs and ride around, holding on to your shoulders. Not anymore, that's not going to fly. Now I'm going to make it home, thanks. I live a couple blocks from here, and I got lights in the front and the back, and we're good. And I'm only having 2 of these drinks. But yeah, that's what it comes down to. Is you got to have an electric scooter now, to pick up these girls. There's some joggers, man. It's like it's 1 o'clock in the morning. These people are jogging. So, yep, the women on the bike. Yep. All right, guys, it's time to go. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much. It's been a privilege, a pleasure and a privilege. And you guys take care, and we'll see you next time. And hopefully I'll be able to reschedule some of my Hey-Go tours, which are on hold because of the pandemic. But if you want to know what's going on, you can check the realtaiwan.tv, and that'll take you to Hey-Go, which is, the live streaming site that I'm using for my tours. Yeah, thank you, Matthew. And thanks to Mike and Ken and Dean, everybody else. You guys take care. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining the Real Taiwan. It doesn't get any realer than this. Fist bump to you too. Bye-bye. All right.